players. It means that Chelsea's Franck Leboeuf is pitched straight into the World Cup final. Such power and drive in the midfield, though, with Deschamps, Petit and the amazing Zidane. But goals have been France's big problem. Today, Guy Varche and Djorkaeff will seek to put that right. Kevin Keegan, the key players in your mind?
Well, Ronaldo for sure, because you just can't keep this man out of the news. Tremendous pace. Even with a sore ankle, Brian, he'll be a real handful for the French defence. A lot of people disappointed with him, say he's not quite lived up to expectations, but he's 21 years of age. He's scored 4 goals. He's made goals, and for me, he's the one. If he plays, Brazil and magic. Now in the French side, Franck Leboeuf, you're coming into a game like this. Who are you up against? Ronaldo. But he won't faze this man. He's got tremendous experience at league level. This is only his 15th or 16th start tonight, sorry for France. But he's got plenty of nous, and he's a great player in his own right. He'll have his hands full. He'll get some help from Desailly, his Chelsea teammate. And we'll see how that goes as they handle this tough Brazilian side.
Referee tonight comes from Morocco, Saïd Belkola, 41-year-old customs officer. And incidentally, there's a British interest here as well, the assistant referee. One of them is Mark Warren, a 38-year-old West Midlands policeman. Well, congratulations to him, and let's hope he has a good night as well. Ahmed Salih from South Africa is the other linesman. Well, we're just about ready to go. The World Cup final of 1998 is underway. France in the blue, do I need to tell you? Brazil in those splendid shirts of yellow. Aldair getting an early touch. This, of course, is where they open this great tournament, the Brazilians, with a victory over Scotland. This is Rivaldo, stopped though by Thuram, who was such a hero. And a great rush here. And a chance, Junior Baiano. And Guy Varche was suddenly putting the Brazilian defence under an enormous amount of pressure. And at the moment, they seemed unable to deal with it. Junior Baiano. Kevin?
Well, this is a chance. I'm not sure he's all over in Baiano. But Guy Varche compromises and almost scores. But maybe, just maybe, Brian, the fact they didn't come out and warm up, they got caught a little bit cold there, that's for sure.
Yeah, what do you make about that? The Brazilians not coming out at any time onto this pitch during the pre-match preliminaries to warm up.
I find it very strange, Brian. There must have been a reason. I can tell you that the warm-up area down in these dressing rooms are about half the size of this pitch, so they can warm up pretty well, but they don't know if the boots are quite right, how slick the grass is, and the dew on the pitch, and all sorts of things like that. But we'll see.
Here's Cafu. Little Bebeto's gone outside him. Here he is, number 20. Knocked back again to Sampaio. And a free kick to France. The foul on Djorkaeff. Taken there by Didier Deschamps. Franck Leboeuf coming forward. Guy Varche again. Junior Baiano is with him. And Cafu getting the ball. Oh, Leonardo really struggling, and Dunga coming to the rescue there and just had to poke the ball away, hopefully towards the French half. Goes into touch. Lizarazu then with the throw. Tense moment these early on. Lizarazu, faced by Leonardo, gets it wide to Guy Varche, who's settled very quickly here. Djorkaeff, Karembe, but well beaten there by Rivaldo. Plays it to Bebeto. Ronaldo still to touch the ball. Dunga, that won't be his last touch by a long way. And played long towards Roberto Carlos. Some terrific runs by him during this World Cup. There'll be more tonight, I'm sure. There's this brilliant fullback, William Thuram. An interesting battle, actually, Thuram against Roberto Carlos. Now, he, for a small man, has got quite a good long throw, but he's not showing it at the moment. It's Rivaldo instead for Brazil. Most people's favourites here. Zidane. Now, if he's really in form tonight, France will be in the driving seat. Aldair. Dunga picking up anything that's loose in the midfield, and they're always looking for him. And still, Ronaldo's not had a touch.
Not only has he not had a touch, Brian, you can tell he's got a problem because he's just so uneasy on his feet.
Here he is now, and he's just kept it in play. Sampaio. And back to Taffarel. Jacquet, the French coach. Long ball here, beautifully held by Bates.
I don't think there's a goalkeeper in this World Cup who comes quite as far as this man. He almost tries to stretch the 18-yard box, doesn't he?
Zidane running at the fence and gets it back again. Zidane again, could be in for something here. And in the end, Givash couldn't get a real shot on target, goes down injured. The Moroccan referee says, no, we'll get on with it. But that was some great work by Zidane. His body strength got him past one challenge. And he saw Givash as the ball's now gone into touch.
Yeah, clever play, knocks it through his legs, but unfortunately Givash is at full stretch. But he already, in this first 5 minutes almost of this game, Givash 3 times has caused him problems.
Givash, who of course plays at Newcastle next season. It's back and okay again. Cafu. We've seen once or twice before in this tournament, Kevin, that the Brazilians are slow starters.
Yeah,
they were certainly against Denmark, got badly caught out there.
Yeah, but they're good finishers, Brian.
Yes.
That's what will worry France.
Dunga getting the ball into Rivaldo. Back to Dunga again. Up towards Ronaldo, who didn't frankly seem all that interested and was easily beaten there by Leboeuf. Bayanu. Sampaio. Cafu. Leonardo plays on the right-hand side, but he's so predominantly left-footed. Free kick to Brazil. Handball. Which Dunga will take. He's looking on the far side for Roberto Carlos, but plays it shorter. Rivaldo. Roberto making a little run. Leonardo's coming in there as well, but Lizarazu. Well, Lizarazu was covering him well. Leonardo felt that was certain to be a corner. I think most of the people in the stadium did, but to be fair, the linesman was right there.
He was right there, Brian, but he got it wrong, unfortunately. I think it was a corner.
Bartes with a kick. Dunga with a header. Picked up the trophy for Brazil in '94 in America, the Brazilian captain and number 8. Could he be the first World Cup captain ever to pick it up in successive World Cups? Lizarazu. Oh, and he's picked this up well, Lizarazu, and he ran straight into Cafu. There was no possibility of Cafu getting out of the way. Free kick then to France, which Zidane will take. Frank Leboeuf's gone up. Desai's in there, so too is Thuram, and it's gone a long way. But it was Djorkaeff with the header, and it went behind. But I'll say this, there were 3 or 4 Frenchmen who were in pretty good positions, and the marking of the Brazilians was nothing really to write home about.
That was a real chance, Brian. The flag stayed down. I think on the far side, it played onside, and it really hit his shoulder. And Djorkaeff really is a key man for the France tonight, because he hasn't really started this World Cup yet for me. He's a better player than he's so far shown us. If he can get it going with Zidane, then he could be in for a wonderful French performance here.
They've looked unsure of themselves at the back, and when you think that in 5 of the 6 games in this World Cup, Brazil have conceded goals. That's a free kick. Leboeuf on Rivaldo rather. Dunga. Rivaldo. Beaten away by 3 Frenchmen. Dunga trying to get in there and retrieve that situation. Takes an awful battering as he does so. This is his last game for Brazil. Little number 8 retires at the end of this World Cup. Desai did well. Bebeto was looking to winkle away just behind him. Get it up as far as Givash. On the left, Mario Zagallo, the 67-year-old Brazilian coach. Twice a winner as a player of the World Cup. Twice in management he's been involved in Brazil World Cup wins. He knows about these occasions. Leboeuf. Djorkaeff had gone deep. Brazil come forward. Here's Roberto Carlos. Just thinking with Roberto Carlos on one side and Lizarazu on the other, we've got two left wing backs that really do fly down the flank, but Lizarazu now needs to defend against Cafu and does it well. Finds Zidane. How France and all their fans will be hoping that this number 10 really turns it on. That may well be the key to the whole game today. Karembo. Thuram scored twice in the semi-final against Croatia. The first goal was the big number 15 that ever scored for his country. His timing wasn't bad. Djorkaeff gets it back to Petit of Arsenal. Lizarazu. Here's Petit again. No, didn't quite get to him. Sampaio getting the ball to Rivaldo, and that's one for Roberto Carlos to run for. Pretty low-key start, actually, Kevin.
Yeah, you know, the tempo is not what it will be, but there's reasons for that. Ronaldo up front, he really is a player, likes to move around, come deep for the ball and run at people, and he's just feeling that ankle a little bit, and he's just playing his way into this game.
Now, Leonardo lost that badly, and Cafu had gone well forward, and here's Djorkaeff with Grivash in the middle, but it was a poor cross.
It was a poor cross, but look how easily he beat Junior Baiano there. That would be very worrying for Zagallo, the Brazilian coach. He just went past him as if he wasn't there.
Lizarazu, little header. France actually dictating this game at the moment. Petit looking for the cross. Huge Brazilian figure of Baiano gets in the way and gets it into touch. But again, without a great deal of conviction, and you can see the coach saying, come on, what's happening? Lizarazu with the throw. Djorkaeff first to show for it. Now straight to Leonardo. Given away by Cesar Sampaio. Desailly to Leboeuf. Karembo. Well, he's given it away to Ronaldo, but he couldn't quite pick it up. And Leboeuf finds Deschamps. Here's Petit. Djorkaeff. Lizarazu. Djorkaeff again. Ooh, and he might have got, he very nearly got Lizarazu in there. Sampaio finding Leonardo. He hasn't really found his feet yet, but now he finds Cafu. Bebeto on the far side. Sampaio coming up. There's Bebeto. Roberto Carlos. Rivaldo in the middle. Ronaldo in the middle. So it's Thuram for France. Zidane coming from deep in an unexpected area. Thuram. Grivash going right across his line. Deschamps. And a ball again hits nowhere near a blue shirt. Chance for a good break here though. Karembo leading it. Djorkaeff is forward, and again nothing coming to it. It's Roberto Carlos. Bebeto's gone wide for him.
Both teams working really hard to close each other down, and no quarter given or asked.
Good play there by Leonardo. Here's Cafu making those charges that he makes so well, and he's beaten Desailly. Never the easiest thing. Bebeto on the far side. Ronaldo waiting. They knock it back again to Roberto Carlos. He's not a bad crosser of a ball either. Plays it simply now to Rivaldo, but he was well challenged and beaten there by the French captain Didier Deschamps. And it's Djorkaeff making the break now. Grivash outside him. And Zidane on this side waving his arms. He was in a lot of space, but Roberto Carlos gets possession again for Brazil. Leonardo plays it wide for Cafu. Wide of him is Ronaldo, and here is Ronaldo. Aldair. Bebeto came very deep in the hope of picking it up and now gets it from Roberto Carlos. Simple passing, looking for the one that really counts when the opening is there. So typical of the Brazilians. Ronaldo. Quite easily beaten. That wasn't vintage Ronaldo by a long way, but this is Zidane. Ricochet. Dunga with the header. Cafu. Leonardo. Djorkaeff. Desai. To Thuram. Karanda. Deschamps. There's Djorkaeff. He's waiting in there. He's coming to help Djorkaeff, and it now comes to Lizarazu. Guivarc'h is waiting in there. Bad ball. Still, Leonardo's got a problem. In the end, it's Dunga. Much sounder with his passing. Like someone was taking account of Dunga's passing in the game against Holland, the semi-final. He made 43 passes and only one went astray.
Yeah, he doesn't hit that many telling balls, but his job is to get it and find a yellow shirt. But at the moment, both teams are struggling to find each other, and that's been unusual in this tournament. They've passed it well, these two sides.
Cafu, Dunga again, finding his man. Sampaio with a turn. Cafu chasing, and Lizarazu did well. Went in actually where it hurt, because the feet of Cafu were fairly high. Obviously that's being construed as dangerous play.
That's going to be a good contest down this side. I mean, on one side Carlos and Thuram, and on this side Lizarazu and Cafu, and I feel that's where both sides are going to get the joy down the flanks.
Cafu hitting it forward. The World Cup needs a good final. The last two have been pretty appalling. The one in America that finished 0-0, Brazil-Italy, and was decided on the penalty shootout, and the one in Italy before that, Germany beat Argentina 1-0 with a penalty late in the game, and that was a mercy that something was decided.
Well, it's happened so often in the European Cup finals as well, Brian, hasn't it, where you look at the two sides and you think this is going to be a classic, and sometimes it never quite gets going. But there's plenty of time for this one because there's so much talent out there.
Deschamps knocking it in, but knocking it far too high for Guivarc'h. Goal kick to Brazil. So what do you think about Ronaldo? We've had, what, 16 minutes, 40-odd seconds, Kevin?
Well, I think if it was anybody else, he wouldn't play. But he is so vital to the way that Brazil play, and so inspiring that they've taken a gamble. At the moment, it's a gamble for me that hasn't quite come off, but you know, my feeling on ankles is they don't get better, they tend to get worse the more you play. So if they're not good at the start, you don't usually make the 90 minutes, that's for sure. He's just again on his heels there, that's the problem.
Now here come France, they're certainly not on their heels at the moment. Djorkaeff, but the shot was a weak one. I guess they're probably having a look at Ronaldo, letting him see how he finds himself after 20 minutes, half an hour. Because the one great thing he's got, of course, is that electric pace, and you do need to have good ankles, good strong body for that one, and he zips over that first 10 metres probably quicker than anybody else, and really he doesn't look at this moment in any way up for it. Lizarazu. Zidane. Now he does look up for it. Petit. What a double it will be for him, having won the championship with Arsenal, if he could now cap that by winning a World Cup winners' medal with his country. Aldair. Up to Rivaldo. What good defending again, and quickly closed in there by Thuram. Deschamps. Nobody busier. Foul by Rivaldo. Free kick again to France, quickly taken by Leboeuf. Allowed a little bit of license there by the Moroccan referee. Thuram now, looking to get a cross in. Zidane's waiting in there. This is Karambeu. And it's a goal kick. Met 8 times these two nations. Brazil 4, France 1, drawn 3. Most dramatic actually was the 1986 World Cup quarter-final, which finished 1-1, and France won that on penalties. The other World Cup meeting was back in 1958 when Brazil won 5-2, and a certain 17-year-old Pelé scored a hat-trick. Pelé, who's sitting 2 rows behind us now, working for Brazilian television. But here comes Cafu. Well stopped by Petit. Apart from that early scare when Guy Varche was through, or almost through, he'd come almost to 20 minutes, Barthez has not really had a shot at all to save. And after that early scare, Tafarel's had very little to do. But that may change now, as Thuram takes up the running and the French crowd get behind him. The cross comes in. It comes to Guy Varche, Djorkaeff. But 2, 4, 6, 7 Brazilians have got back. Zidane, full of tricks. Djorkaeff, Karembeu. Deflection, a little kick away there by Dunga, and Brazil on the move again. Bebeto. Leonardo, a extravagant back heel there. Cafu, Sampaio, Ronaldo. Ooh, he thought about firing something from long range, and this might be a better option for him. Roberto Carlos. Wow, he almost looked to catch Barthez out. Slightly eccentric goalkeeper, this man, Barthez. But in this World Cup, his handling has been excellent. Talking to Bob Wilson, who knows a thing or two about goalkeeping, he said his handling in a crucial semi-final against Croatia could not have been better. Guy Varche puts it in, but there's nobody there in a blue shirt. Both Djorkaeff and Zidane were a good 10 or 15 yards back.
Yeah, what Guy Varche has got to do there, Brian, is because he's so much on his own up front, he's got to delay it a little before he whips it in. No one can get up that quickly with him because Zidane and Djorkaeff are playing so much deeper.
Well, here's Guy Varche, Djorkaeff in the middle. Zidane as well. He's got some support from Djorkaeff there. Here's Cafu. Leonardo always has to bring it over onto his left foot. He's just not got a right foot at all. Dunga finding Roberto Carlos, finding Ronaldo instead. The cross comes in. Oh my goodness, so close there. Barthez' handling just for a moment looked as though it might let him down, but in the end it didn't, and there were Brazilians around him. But here come Brazil again. They've obviously caught the breeze now. Rivaldo losing it. Dejean picking it up, and an offside flag up. What about that moment?
Well, I don't know if Ronaldo meant to shoot, but I tell you something now, looking at the Brazilian players, they felt that Barthez had carried it over the line. It must have been very close.
Roberto Carlos. Again Ronaldo attacking France from that left flank. Finding Rivaldo. In turn to Cafu. A better spell for Brazil now, the holders. Leonardo can't keep it going. The challenge came from Marcel Desailly. Oh, good play there by Leonardo. Cafu needs a cross. Corner given.
Here's that cross, Brian. Look, he jumps, he mishandles it, and then pulls it back. That must have been very, very close.
His foot was well over the line, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And I think it was Leonardo who appealed, so it was very, very close, but difficult to judge from that angle.
Sampaio on the line. And good save by Wolf. That wasn't far from over the line either. So Barthez at last being called into action. But it certainly didn't cross the line.
No, but you wouldn't call it normal goalkeeping. But he's kept a good goal this World Cup. He's good with his feet as well, Brian. Plays well with the back four. Sometimes takes the odd risk too many, does Barthez. But a wonderful communicator with his back four.
Here's Dunga. It's Cafu. Ronaldo tackled from behind there actually by Lizarazu. Leonardo, Cafu. Tight little area there, but the ball played now to Junior Bayanu. Gives him a bit of space. Dunga more and more playing between the two big defenders, Aldair and Junior Bayanu. Aldair, what he's trying to do here.
Well, we've got two sides here. If you would say, look a little bit jaded, a little bit tired from playing 32 days now. The games haven't exactly come thick and fast, but there've been a lot of golden goal times and penalty shootouts, and of course the pressure that goes with it. But still, you would expect on this stage for the big names to perform.
Here's Dunga. Cafu. Desai. Barthez hammering it away towards Givash. Junior Bayanu getting above Djorkaeff. Cafu hitting it straight to Leboeuf, and now Deschamps. Givash. Karembeu. Zidane's made a good run on the right-hand side for him, but he plays it instead towards Givash. It was so easy for Taffarel. France remained fairly solid at the back. They've conceded only 2 in this World Cup. I suppose it's fair to say they've very rarely met the attack of the quality of Rivaldo and Ronaldo. Well, this is Thuram making one of these characteristic, or at least more recently characteristic runs of his. He did them against Croatia, certainly in that semi-final. Karembeu finds him. Thuram gets it back again, and Roberto Carlos, I think, may have conceded the corner, yes. Roberto Carlos not happy with it, and the South African referee, linesman rather, Ahmad Saleh, not too happy with it as well, and the referee going across quickly to warn Roberto Carlos.
No, he's looking not to get a yellow card there, Brian, isn't he? We've seen them for probably less than that in this World Cup so far, but this is the final.
Well, Desai's up for this. Leboeuf's up for this. Zidane's in there as well. And it's there! And it's Zidane! 1-0 France!
Well, the man you would not expect to score a headed goal. He's got great feet. He's got tremendous ability on the deck. He's not renowned for his heading ability, but he gets an absolute free header from about 4 yards.
Dreadful marking. Great heading. Zidane's first goal of the World Cup. And it puts France 1-0 ahead. No chance for Taffarel there.
Great ball in from Petit, but still, you would have thought a Brazilian defence with Baiano and the height of Aldair would have handled that one.
Only we go back to the semi-final that Brazil played against Holland, and Kluivert's header from a similar situation where they were left rooted to the ground. The same thing is applied here now. They marked poorly and didn't really get up and challenge Zidane. And now they have a task on their hands as Leboeuf gets in quickly for France. Aldair. Roberto Carlos. Lizarazu couldn't reach it. Cafu can. And now Zidane. by Dunga.
Well, we saw him there, Zidane. That's what we really know what he's about. Those lovely feet and those lovely skills. But heading a ball, well, I don't think I've seen many headers in this World Cup, but that was if Alan Shearer had got it, or Guy Varch should have said it's a terrific centre-forward's goal.
Got a shot there of the French president, Jacques Chirac, with a French scarf around his neck. He will present the World Cup at the end of this game to the winners.
It's good to see that he's impartial then, Brian.
On a day like this, no. Here's Roberto Carlos. I guess you could get a table in almost any French restaurant in Paris tonight. The service, I think, might be a little sketchy though. Here's the corner again, and Zidane, the man from Mexico. And the reaction there from his goalkeeper, Fabien Barthez. Now let's see how Brazil react. Dunga, so much experience and skill in the side. But as I was saying to you, they've conceded goals in all but one of their games in this World Cup. And remember, they lost to Norway. Here's Rivaldo. Karembeu got the better of him. Gets the ball back again from Djorkaeff. Turan. Karembeu. Djorkaeff. But in steps Leonardo. Dunga. For those long balls, trying to get Ronaldo away. And Ronaldo's in there! And Barthez met him face to face, body to body, and both are lying there. But Barthez has got up, but Ronaldo is still down, and that was some collision. And you can see the French goalkeeper saying, look, this man's in trouble, come and get him some help as soon as you can. And indeed, the medical men are on very quickly indeed. But that'll show you in a way the strength of Ronaldo, looking at only one thing, the ball, not at Barthez.
Good brave goalkeeping too, Brian.
Yep.
You know, he never took his eye off the ball. And if he wasn't injured before the game, and I'm pretty sure he is the way he's been running around gingerly, he'll certainly know he's had a knock now. Look at him watching the ball, keeper watching the ball, both totally committed, as you would expect in a World Cup final. Back in Brazil, if they lose this game.
Well, William Hill have a client who's put £240,000 even money on to Brazil to win in 90 minutes. So I wonder how much he's enjoying watching this at the moment. Get it back to Barthez. That looks in fact make Brazil 2-1 on favourites to win, France 6-4. They were offering 16-1 for Ronaldo to score a hat-trick in the 90 minutes. I guess if Ronaldo is not fully fit, which we think he is, that does even things up enormously, doesn't it?
Yeah, you put Ronaldo in most of the teams that have already gone home and they would maybe still be here.
Here's Roberto Carlos, played in again towards Bebeto. Deschamps. Oh, he's gone past Dunga. And he's found Djorkaeff, but Djorkaeff then ran into Junior Baiano, or rather Baiano ran into him, and Junior Baiano gets the yellow card. About 11 minutes to go to half-time, a little over, as you can see. France leading with Zidane's goal. First goal in open play in a World Cup final for 12 years, would you believe it? A 0-0, as I've said, in 94, and a penalty in 90. That ball has been given out of play. I'm not sure that it was. It's a goal kick to Brazil. Dunga. Zidane quickly up at him. But he finds Cafu. Leonardo. And almost manic on the touchline Galo, Brazilian coach. What do you guess he was trying to say, Kevin?
Well, the same thing that I said before, Brian. There's not enough movement, there's not enough pace. Dunga's virtually playing last man most of the time.
Rivaldo losing out, but there's a free kick to Brazil.
I just wonder if we're not going to see someone like Denilson pretty early in the second half, because Rivaldo as well has been very disappointing.
Well, the one thing Denilson will have is pace, and he does like to run at defenders, which they hate.
Everyone hates. Well, defenders do anyway. Pace and people committing them. It's not what they want.
Sampaio losing out. Here come France again. Deschamps to Zidane. Deschamps to Desai. Will be wearing the blue of Chelsea next season. Leonardo does well here. Oh, when he gets the ball through to Bebeto, and he almost got it through to Ronaldo. But the French stayed calm and closed the door again. Djokaev. Guivarch is up alongside him. Karen Burrs on the far side still. Djokaev! In the end, a half-hit shot. And
it's a great run this, Brian, though, isn't it? Only the end bit isn't world-class. And to be fair, Djokaev, he's had a problem with his shooting. He's not been on target a lot, but he's looked a little bit livelier, especially in the last 15 minutes for France.
Nobody actually wanted to get a tackle in the Brazilian defence, and Sampaio now loses it again. And here's Zidane, twisting and turning, a flick with the outside of the boot, and it was a good one. And here's Petit. Guivarch on the far side, Karembeu on the far side. Now, real up and under for Taffarel, but there's no blue shirt around him to hustle him. And the throw out might cause Cafu problems. We're all sticking our feet out there, realising that Cafu may have a problem. Bebeto caught by Desai. A free kick to Brazil. Of course, what Brazilian fans will be hoping is that they can somehow win a free kick somewhere near that penalty area and let Roberto Carlos do his work. Although he's often been complaining in this World Cup with a lighter ball, his free kicks aren't as potent. But let's see what he can do with this now on the far side. He's taken that nicely on his chest. No, it's gone out of play. A throw to France.
Well, Brazil never came out for this warm-up, and they haven't really come out at all for this game so far. And I think Emre Can, who you saw there, he'll be delighted with the way the French have picked up the game and played at a pace that they want to play at.
Zidane shakes off a couple of challenges, but big Junior Baiano stands in the way again. Rivaldo, scorer of 3 goals in this World Cup, and goes flying out there, and I think the French captain Didier Deschamps gets the yellow card.
Yeah, it's the right decision from the referee. A silly tackle there from Deschamps, because Rivaldo was really going nowhere.
But not so badly hurt that he's not on the field now, producing the ball through to Leonardo. Dunga, flag has stayed down. Cafu now. There's a Frenchman down though. And Lizarazu plays it in. It's Deschamps, who's just got a yellow card, who's down and injured. And the referee has stopped the play. It's one of the, I think, the blight on this World Cup. Seeing Rivaldo get up, oh my goodness, that was quite a challenge for the little French captain there. He took it right on the chin in every sense. Seeing Rivaldo go down and roll over and over and then get up again fairly quickly, I think that has to be the scourge of this World Cup, that the exaggeration of injury and seeking to get players into trouble with yellows and red cards, diving and so on. I think that's an area, if we can look at the downside.
Well, a lot of the good that those rules are meant to bring to the game. It's down to players at the end of the day.
Yep. Played in long towards little Bebeto, who gets a header in. He had no entitlement there at all against the huge Thuram. He just pulls away, gets his header in, but there's never going to be a problem there for Barthez. Karembeu. Play through for Djokaev. Givash is again up there. Karembeu's gone galloping outside him. The Real Madrid man finds Djokaev again. Petit's made a little run as well. Good to see that Deschamps is up and about. Zidane holding off Leonardo, twisting and turning, and probably in the end fooling himself, and it was a throw to Brazil.
Yeah, you can't blame him for trying though, Brian. Tries everything here.
Dunga, a little chip pass, perfection there for Cafu. Leonardo. Again, the game bypassing Ronaldo. He's just not got into it at all. And you wonder whether maybe he'll come out in the second half. Thuram.
Well, it casts a shadow over other players when someone 50% fit, which is all he is for me, gets the vote over 100% fit players who are just chomping at the bit to get on. But he is a sensation. He is a key player, and sometimes that happens.
Lizarazu. Petit made a good run. Karembeu's available. That's a long-range shot. Oh, and it came off, and it might come for Petit. And it's off! Just wide. Thought just for a moment, and I'm not the only one in the stadium, thought it had gone into the back of the net.
Well,
but the Arsenal man.
If he'd been on his left foot, it probably would. It bounces, it falls for him, he hits it,
oh,
it gets
and it
deflected. Maybe it was going in the back of the net. Certainly would have needed a good save from Taffarel.
Well, they were denied a corner. And here are Brazil again with Cafu. Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. France still leading by Zidane's goal. Ronaldo. Roberto Carlos. Cafu. Leonardo. Aldair venturing forward. And Ronaldo. Now, can he raise Brazilian hopes? All the time Frank Leboeuf is tackling like that.
Terrific tackle from Frank Leboeuf. He has to get it right, otherwise it's a yellow card. He gets it spot on. And he's done a great job so far. He'll have to keep doing that with this Brazilian attack.
Leboeuf getting another challenge in there. And they might in fact spring out now, France. No, that was a poor ball from Karembeu towards Djokaev. Karembeu then heading that one clear. Only as far as Dunga. Now it's a throw to Brazil. Bebeto, Leonardo, Petit wins them all, wins 3 challenges there against the Brazilians, finds Givash, back again to Manu Petit. Lizarazu, Petit, oh, slackness there that he and Lizarazu weren't thinking the same things. Karembeu on the far side. Now Thuram. Deschamps. Zidane. Desailly. A bit of calm defending. Fine Deschamps. Like Dunga, Deschamps is always clear. He's always available to anybody who's in the slightest bit of trouble. Barthez gets it away. Last host nation to win the World Cup was Argentina in '78. France they may feel they've half the job done, but against a Brazilian side, you never know. In 1 second it can all change. And here's Sampaio. And the deflection might come towards Ronaldo, but it doesn't, because Thuram there to get it away. hit long towards Guivarch. Oh, and Guivarch! He slipped the markers. Oh, and Taffarel made a good save, and Guivarch should have done a lot better. And Stefan Guivarch knows that the World Cup could almost have been in the bag.
Oh, terrible defending from Vaiano again, but I felt he should have taken it on a little bit. Hits it well, down to the left of Taffarel, makes a good save, but I feel that France will never get a better opportunity than that as long as they're in a World Cup final to go 2-0 up. Tremendous chance for him.
Well, they've scored from one corner in this World Cup final, from this spot. Here's Petit with another one. How's the marking going to be this time? Well, allowed to go right across that goal there. Guivarch. And in the end they get another corner.
Well, they're just having so many troubles defending corners. It's not the first time we've said that in this World Cup.
We've said they're not the best defenders. They've conceded goals in all but one game, and that was against Morocco.
Oh! He's done it again! Zidane makes it 2-0!
Well, was that Brazilian marking? Beaten once on a corner, and now beaten twice on a corner. And both by Zidane. And right into injury time at the end of the first half. Zinedine Zidane makes it 2-0.
I can't believe his look. Goes over to Dugarry, he says, anything you can do, I can do better.
And the French president looks well pleased. What about that one, Kevin?
Well, I mean, a great goal. You've got to give credit to Zidane, but who's picking him up? I think it's Leonardo. He picked him up first time. He can't do the job. Simple as that. The delivery's good. He's not out of this world, but he's made the right choices, made the right runs, and he certainly stuck them away as good as any centre forward I've ever seen.
Barthez, if he can do his work, and if the French defence can do their work, even Roberto Carlos from something like 40-odd yards is asking a bit much.
Well, Le Tournois, just over a year ago.
Yeah, that was maybe a little closer.
A little closer, but one of the goals that people will talk about for as long as they live.
Roberto Carlos with the free kick. Joe Cayoff, in fact, standing a little bit in his way. Get out of the way, says the referee. Ungentlemanly conduct, probably. Roberto Carlos, driven and flicked off the head of a Frenchman for a corner. The Frenchman was the captain, Deschamps. Now can Brazil recapture something in the last seconds of the first half? 2-0 down, floated in. Barthez pawing at it, but maybe just got enough on it. In any case, the whistle's gone. It'll be a free kick to France, and Barthez in some trouble. See the referee who's handled it well. No problems with him so far.
Well, this Brazilian side, we keep saying, didn't come out for the warm-up. They won't want to go in at half-time and face Zagala because they've been so un-Brazilian in this first half. They've gone through the motions. I think Ronaldo's got excuses, but the other 10 are probably fit. I'm sure they are.
Well, there's the man, Aimé Jacquet. My goodness, he's taken enough stick from the media generally, the press in particular. That may have gone through Roberto Carlos's legs.
Yeah, last time they didn't have a man on the line. This time they have, but it's made no difference.
Barthez is all right. And continuing that story, the French coach may well have the last laugh. He's been criticised so much about his team selection. It's all gone right for France so far, and it's all gone absolutely perfectly for the number 10, Zidane. That magical number 10 shirt is working again in the World Cup. It's Brazil 0, France 2. Thank you, Bob. Yes, well, there's Danielson going on. The 20-year-old, and in those 20 years he's somehow got together 30 caps for Brazil. £21 million player with Real Betis of Seville in Spain. So, can he turn this tide? It is sweeping against Brazil at the moment. 45 minutes left. Junior Baiano. He'll operate down this left-hand side, and one thing for sure, he's got terrific pace. Leboeuf across quickly to counter that. As we said in the half-time, and as Glenn said before half-time, and as Glenn said at half-time, he will run at defenders.
Yeah, he'll commit them, Brian. He'll make them make decisions. Sometimes he'll make wrong ones and pull him down, but he is talented.
No foul there, but Brazil still take possession with Rivaldo. But Desai had far too much strength for him and guile. Not a very good clearance there by big Desai. Roberto Carlos coming for this one, but Thuram getting the better of him. Karembeu, the French, needless to say, quite happy with the way their first half has gone. No changes in their side. And that is astonishing, the news that Bob was giving at half-time. They didn't warm up because of disagreement over whether Ronaldo should play. Such a split in the camp on a World Cup final. You may depend, knowing as we all do, the sniffing out qualities of the Brazilian press and media. And goodness, Mr. Zagallo is going to be under siege, I would have thought, for the next few days. They won't take this very happily at all. Cafu on the far side for Brazil. Played into Bebeto. This is almost the longest he's stayed on the field. He's normally substituted by now, Bebeto. Free kick to Brazil. And Desai just a moment in trouble. It was the foul on Cafu. And he's going to get the yellow card, Desai. He wasn't very happy about that either.
No, I've got to say, Brian, I think he's got every right not to be happy. I didn't see anything that deserved a yellow card. I think he maybe stumbled against Cafu, but it wasn't intentional. But a few players got to watch themselves now.
But the little Brazilian captain Dunga now. They've taken the big 6'4" Junior Baiano up. Sampaio's in there too. It's gone a long, long way, and in the end it was Thuram who was happy to put it away for the corner. 2 goals from corners so far in this World Cup final, both to France. And Brazil copied the same trick now. It's Roberto Carlos swinging it out, but straight to the man who scored with 2 corners from 2 corners for France, Zidane. But here's Danielson. No foul. Looks as though he was pushed actually by Djokayev. Oh, now what has Zidane done here? Leboeuf gets it away. Just for a moment, Zidane could have undone an awful lot of the good that he did in the first half. It was a silly ball to play back in towards his own penalty area, particularly as it went straight to a Brazilian. Now, do you detect a better tempo or urgency or discipline or desire amongst the Brazilians in this second half? Let's just have a look at Bebeto for a moment, Kevin. Playing it into Rivaldo, got nowhere near him, and there's a good ball played out by Desai. Guivarc'h playing it into Zidane. Zidane towards Djokayev. Now, what about the
well, the French can do to Brazil what Brazil have done to so many teams in the past. You know, they've got this 2-goal cushion. They can afford to sit back a little bit, suck the Brazilians on. But that's a dangerous game because these Brazilians, they can interpass well and they have got good invention. But it's set up for France to break at any time as well.
Bebeto getting nowhere there, but Cafu will take possession again. Rivaldo onto that left foot, could be dangerous. But just you notice how many French, look at those blue shirts in the picture there, all getting way back behind the ball.
That's been a feature of the French play, and that's why there was no room for Eric Cantona and David Ginola, despite all the appeals. Jamie Jackie wanted players like that who would work.
And work they are. 2 solid blocks of 4 every time Brazil now get anywhere near their goal. That's a free kick. Leboeuf has gone down but got up again. I'm sensing the free kick's gone his way. Dugarry.
Well, he'll be fancying his chances if he gets on, because he is the best header of the ball that the French have got in the squad, and he's seen his mate Zidane score 2 headed goals.
Thierry Henry there too. Junior Bayoni. Cafu. Roberto Carlos. Ronaldo to Danielson, and there he goes. And there he goes again. Oh, and he almost flicked that ball through for Rivaldo again. Instead of that's Camber who's given it away to Bebeto. And now Cafu. Played in again, and Cafu is continuing his run. And in the end, I think the Brazilians have got a corner. And Desai is in trouble.
Well, he wasn't going to pull out of that one, Brian, and neither was Cafu. And he's took a nasty knock into the boards, but look at them, both committed. Great defending from Desai. Momentum carries him to the side.
And the medical men not sure what to do. They wanted to run across the pitch, and then when they weren't allowed to do that, they didn't know whether they'd run around the side of the pitch. So he's still waiting for attention. No foul. Referee didn't want to know, you can see. Waving his hand, Roberto Carlos is not happy. But no foul on Rivaldo.
Well, the referee couldn't have been closer to that. That's about 3 times now that Nielsen's tried to get something, and the referee's having none of it.
France still down to 10, and without their big central defender, Desai, Petit has dropped a little bit deeper to cover that gap, and it might need some covering now as Sampaio gets the ball going forward again. Cafu will make some great runs there, and it'll be a throw to Brazil.
He's made some great runs, but Razou is equal to the task, isn't he? He's done a great job on Cafu.
Now Dunga, long range shots. Hoots of derision from the French crowd. Caught on the volley, but always going wide, and it'll be a goal kick. Desai back on his feet again now.
He's had a wonderful World Cup, Desai. I bet the Chelsea fans can't wait to see him play, and there's Laudrup on top, isn't there? I mean, what a season they could have if that all comes together the way they planned.
Petit, Deschamps, back to Desai. Ladled out wide to Lizarazu. Petit again. Lizarazu. Come and get it, they're saying to the Brazilians. And the ball played inside again towards Guivarc'h, but that was Aldair with the header for Brazil. Thuram with one for France. Karembeu. Good control there. Played in the game, but that was played far too close to Roberto Carlos. Play on, said the referee. Ball fielded there by the Brazilian coach.
I think the Brazilian coach had better movement than any of his players in that first half, Brian. He was up and out that box, he was up and down that line, he was trying to get the ball quickly, but unfortunately his players didn't seem to have the same.
Roberto Carlos. But the throw for Brazil. Danielson. A little space here for Roberto Carlos. Good twist, it didn't fool the French, but it falls for Dunga, and it falls for Dunga again. Played wide, a sensible ball, played simply for Roberto Carlos. Bebeto looking to see whether Cafu might join in here. Well, it was too high for Ronaldo, but Danielson was going in with a great deal of menace there. And this is a slightly better spell here for Brazil. They may well just be getting their appetite back. They don't get a free kick though, which is what they really wanted, and Zidane can bring it away for France. Their throw.
Just a minute ago there, great defending from Thuram again. He's another one who will look back on this World Cup as
just got the touch.
Yeah, definitely a throw in. Got it right, the referee. He's got most things right, to be fair to him.
It's Djorkaeff with the throw. Roberto Carlos insisting it's his. Amy Jacquet looking on impassively. But you can just imagine how his heart is beating with the thought that he might be bringing the World Cup to to France for the first time, the French coach. Maybe he's thinking those things, but knowing football as well as he does, you dismiss those thoughts as well, because so many things can happen. Right, there's a free kick here, given away by Carambert. And he gets a yellow card. It's the third Frenchman to get one, joining Desailly and Deschamps. Still think this might be a little too far out for Roberto Carlos.
You might think it is, Brian, but he doesn't think it is. I think he's only scored 3 goals for Brazil, but they've all been crackers. But I do sometimes think you might get a little bit more if you knock the odd one in the box from this sort. I mean, they've got some big guys in there.
Well, there are 4 in the French wall, Barthez behind them. And they played a slightly different one. They are Roberto Carlos playing it into the box. Leboeuf was there with it. Ronaldo's there too! And that was an astonishing piece of goalkeeping. Ronaldo looked as though he surely had to get Brazil back into this game. But then Fabien Barthez made this terrific save.
Well, first chance he's had, he hits the target. Barthez can do nothing but stop it. It's straight at him, but still he held on to it, which was amazing.
Right, here's Petit. Lizarazu. Actually, the slow motion didn't do credit to the save, because Ronaldo really got some beef into that shot. Nice little turn here by Djokaev. Still with Djokaev. Cafu. Happy to let it go over for the goal kick. And France wanting to make a substitution. They're taking off Carambert, who came off with an ankle injury, actually twisted an ankle in the semi-final against Croatia. And Alain Bogossian is on in his place.
Oh, Carambert's good work for me has been defensively. Snuffing out the thread of Carlos, Roberto Carlos down this left-hand side. Job well done. Off he goes. Fresh pair of legs on for the French.
Here's Roberto Carlos. Aldair. Junior Baiano. Bogossian gets his first touch. Chests it down here for Thuram. Which way is that going? It's going a free kick to France. Barthez says, hold on, I'll take that. He's full of confidence now, this goalkeeper. He's really full of himself. That was a cracking save that he made from Ronaldo. At a crucial time in the game, because with less than a quarter of an hour of the second half gone, if Brazil had pulled one back, they've got plenty of time then to mount attack after attack, looking for that equaliser. Junior Baiano getting in. Rivaldo turning it on a bit further. The flag goes up for an offside. Free kick to Brazil. Sampaio gets it back, flicks it through. That's a good ball. Right now for Danielson. Charge down there, and the flag was up for an offside. It was Roberto Carlos offside. Suddenly it looked impossible to... And in fact, there's a bit more about them in the second half now.
There is an urgency, but Danielson, Carlos is going mad with him there, because that's the problem that Danielson has. He just sometimes has a touch too many, takes a man on when he doesn't need to. But I think Amy Jackie will be looking at that chance that Ronaldo had, and maybe Barthez making the save. Although it was straight at him, he held on to it. Wonderful save. That's a key moment, because like you said, Brian, if they get a goal, the Brazilians, they're capable of doing anything. We still know there's another gear or two in this side.
Bogossian he's given that away. He's given away a free kick for the challenge there on Danielson. Free kick again to Brazil. Again, the little man with the number 6 on his back. That's Bogossian who conceded the free kick. The little man with the number 6 on his back, Roberto Carlos. Real Madrid. Not a prolific goal scorer, we've said before, but sometimes those free kicks rifle in, as that one did. And it was Thuram who got it away.
It was either Thuram or it hit Junior Baiano, I'm not sure, but it had tremendous pace on it. But the last free kick was wonderfully inventive, and if you've got a man like Carlos and you throw something in different, everyone expects a shot.
Look at that for a long throw as well. And it was Desai with a header. Knocked in again by Rivaldo, but booted away that time by Petit. Another long throw. The keeper's coming for this, and he hasn't got to it. And Bebeto! Well, that's the first real error that Barthez has made, and it could have been so costly. He came so far for that, didn't really look like getting it. Bebeto plays a nice little ball in here. And it's Marcel Desailly who gets it away. The corner then for Brazil. And they get that one away as well. Cafu trying to keep it going. But that's out of play. It'll be a throw to France. Just under half an hour left to play.
Yeah, just when we started praising Barthez for his good goalkeeping, Brian, he comes for a ball that he has absolutely no need to come for. Can't get through the ruck of players, in fact. And it was a half chance for Bebeto.
Offside flag against Guivarch. He was only about 6 or 7 yards inside the Brazilian half, but still managed to get about 2 yards offside. It's not been a raucous French crowd, and I know the players were telling Gary Newbon earlier on in this week that there are too many well-heeled people who can afford the tickets and the true fans can't. And although France are winning and look like winning the World Cup, the noise element hasn't been quite what it would have been, say, at Wembley if England had been in this position.
Yeah, I think what the players were saying, Deschamps and that, oh, we're not going to hear the samba beat for an hour and a half. And he said there's too many people in suits. That's what his translation of what he said.
I'll tell you one thing though, don't try and go for a gentle stroll down the Champs-Élysées tonight. That was so full after the victory against Croatia. They say it was the biggest celebration since the Second World War. It was astonishing, but there's still work to be done by the French here. Ronaldo looking to make something here, and in the end it's quite easy as Rivaldo's header is gathered by Barthez.
Half a chance, but really from this distance he has to get a tremendously powerful header in, and he can't do that from a standing jump.
It's a throw to France. Here's Lizarazu. Zidane, who did all that damage in the first half. Bogassian. Getting it wide for Thuram. Bogassian going down that right flank, more as a decoy because he maybe has opened a bit of space there, but unfortunately for France, Thuram's cross wasn't nearly good enough. And still Christophe Dugarry warms up for France.
I would be thinking that he's looking for fresh legs for Guivarch, who's run a million miles for the course tonight. Had his chances.
And he's running now for it. And he's running now for it. And he's missed again. And that might be the moment that Aimé Jacquet, the coach, says, right, you've run enough, you've had chances enough, you haven't been on target with them, and I think for all your running, you really maybe need to change it, because this is another great chance. And again, another terrible error in the Brazilian defence.
Yeah, poor defending that time by Cafu, who we expect better from.
Dunga.
What a chance Guivarch had to finish the game again.
Roberto Carlos. Dugarry will very shortly be on. He actually got France on the way, I remember, the first goal in these World Cup finals against South Africa down in Marseille. Oh, goodness, Ronaldo was ducking in there and almost got to it.
I just thought Jacquet might have fetched on some legs in either Trezeguet or Henry. But he's gone for like if he takes Guivarch off, which I think it will be Guivarch who comes off. Dugarry's pretty much the same, likes to hold the ball up.
Great header.
Yeah. Yes, that's probably what he's thinking.
Oh, nice little touch there by Danielson. Almost put Roberto Carlos in. Djorkaeff, Guivarch, Djorkaeff on the far side. French crowd responding to that. Guivarch waiting, Petit, Lizarazu, again Djorkaeff, whose father played in the World Cup finals of 1966 for France and England. Petit, Lizarazu, Deschamps, Bogassian, and a goal kick. Substitution being made. And it is in fact Guivarch who's going off, and Dugarry from Marseille.
Substitution for France.
Marseille scored in the opening game against South Africa. He's worked hard, Guivarch.
Yeah,
Newcastle fans will see plenty of him next season.
They will, and he obviously is a better finisher than he's shown us here tonight, because you don't get as many goals as he has last season in the French league unless you know where the back of the net is. But he snatched at both chances and shown a little bit of inexperience. He's only got a few caps. He'll get better.
Danielson. Now that's what we meant about running at defenders, and you can see how it opened the way up. Bebeto was there, and Bebeto only had to put that ball through. And Danielson or Ronaldo or even Rivaldo would have been there to say thank you very much.
What a wonderful sight, Nielsen running at people. Just glides past people effortlessly.
Here comes a corner. And it's coming as far as Danielson, no, because Deschamps just got a touch to it. Roberto Carlos's throw. Thuram with a backward header, but only as far as Roberto Carlos again. Danielson. A better corner, and you can imagine the millions of Brazilian fans at home saying, I wonder why this youngster wasn't on from the start.
The number of fans in Seville saying, can't wait for this guy to come. Here he is again.
Danielson. All the twists and turns and flicks, but there's a blue wall against him, and now France can break out. Djorkaeff. And there's a challenge there by Desailly. And Desailly has already got a yellow card. He's already got a yellow card, and he's gone. So Marcel Desailly gets the red card. France are down to 10 men. The man who goes to Chelsea next season, sent off in a World Cup final.
And the yellow card he got, Brian, was a poor decision. Well, it looked like a very harsh decision, the first one, but he's really paid the penalty for that one now, because he does mistime this. He does catch Cafu, and he's got to get a yellow card, and that means, obviously, a red one to follow.
Now, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, Brazil are in the ascendancy. They're 2-0 down, but they're really starting to look to open up this French defence. And now, without the man Desailly, who has, for me, been the pillar on which has been built, you know, we're in for a cracking 22 minutes.
Remembering they're already without Laurent Blanc, who was sent off in the semi-final. They've had players sent off in both the semi-final and the final now of France. Now, can they defend in the way that England defended so brilliantly against Argentina? Here's Danielson. Look at that, twisting and turning, but they weren't impressed. They watched the ball, they got away with it, and here's Djorkaeff. It really is a test of their resolve now, this French defence.
Well, it looks for me like Petit almost dropped back into the back four, but I'm surprised because Thuram is an excellent central defender for Parma in Italy. But he's got his hands full with Danielson out here, who's twisting and turning, sometimes going somewhere and sometimes he isn't.
So here's what promised to be an unforgettable day for French football to turn the other way. And Patrick Thierry coming on. Petit, I seem to recall, was originally a back four player. And he's lined up beside Frank Leboeuf now. And the Brazilians must sense now, if they can just lift their game, they must have a real chance here. Strong challenge there by Bogassian. Cafu. Good jump there by Turan. Danielson. And a goal kick. Petit, I'm reminded, did in fact start in the back four as a defender in his time at Monaco.
Yeah, he's played defensive midfield, he's dropped back. Vieri as well, I mean, tells you the strength in depth that the French have, because what a wonderful season he's had in England, and you know, he's hardly had a minute on the pitch. He's been surplus to requirements here, but they'll need him now.
Well, there's Roberto Carlos looking for more effort, more from all his teams. Yeah, Vieira, I think it's coming on. Now they're booing Aldair because I think it was Aldair, wasn't it, that Versailles hit?
It was Cafu actually, but I don't know how they can boo him, because you know, there's absolutely no excuses. He had to go.
Two were sent off in the 1990 World Cup final when Argentina played that dreadful match against Germany. Monson and Desotti. How do we look on the clock now? We've just got about 19 minutes or so left. 18 and a half.
Doesn't make it any easier for Brazil though, does it, Brian? Because now the people expect them to come back, and it's never easy. I mean, England, as you said, defended so well against Argentina and made them look very ordinary, and everyone thought Argentina were one of the best sides here. I'm sure they were, so not made it any easier.
Now France will be looking for their Tony Adams and their Sol Campbell and their Paul Ince. It's back with Barthez. Falling on the ball there, it's a bit silly. The Marseillais is coming around the Stade France at the moment to try and inspire the 10 men. Just spraying it around. There's no great sense of increased urgency about them. Dunga. Ronaldo suddenly looking a little more up for it. Bogassian gets it away to Djokayev. Flick there for Dugarry. Some good play there by Danielson, who then gives it away to Bogassian. Djokayev can't shake off Junior Baianu. Plays it wide for Cafu. Inside for Sampaio. Rivaldo. Danielson. Brazil about to bring a substitute on as well. Edmundo's about to come on. Sampaio showing all the tricks now. Danielson playing it down the line. Too firmly. Do a goal kick. And Edmundo, the player who plays at Fiorentina.
Substitution for Brazil.
Sampaio comes on.
It's all or nothing for Brazil now. Midfielder come off, another forward going on. And I don't think that'll bother the French too much. Obviously, attacking wise, it's going to make a difference to Brazilians, but in midfield, the French could get the goal that will kill the game as well.
Here's Danielson. Cafu. Abeto's gone wide. Edmundo gets his first touch. Here comes a cross towards Ronaldo. Danielson as well, but there's a foul and it's a free kick to France. Actually, Edmundo, when the first team sheet came up, and France are making a substitution as well. Vieira's coming on. was Edmundo who was put in Ronaldo's place. Djorkaeff's worked hard today, and he's now replaced by Patrick Vieira, who had a terrific season with Arsenal and is so strong in the middle of the field. Those long legs cover so much ground, and that's going to make it even more difficult for the Brazilians.
Yeah, and his height as well, which they'll need as well. Victor Sai off the pitch. Good substitution from the French.
Dugarry beaten in the air. Dunga. There comes Brazil again. Cafu. Mundo. A little flick by him, an offside flag against Ronaldo. Not a lot in it, but enough. What an hour just under the go. France 2 goals to the good. If their nerve holds, they will eventually hold the World Cup for the first time. Up towards Dugarry. Knocks it back for Bogacian, who can't control it. Throw to Brazil. Dunga. Junior Baiano. It's Cafu. Bebeto outside him. Edmundo inside. This is Edmundo. Played in again for Danielson. Tangling with Vieira. The ball squirts clear to Dugarry. The long legs of Patrick Vieira. And here's Vieira. And he's going to get right through. Has he got the pace to go on? No, he's going to try and find Christophe Dugarry. Gets it back to Bogacian. Hang it left again to Lizarazu. Vieira wants a bit of the action, but he's now moved back a bit. Lizarazu. Thuram. And here's Cafu. Zidane down. And struggling.
Yeah, he took a knock there, and Rivaldo put it out, and Edmundo went ballistic with him, but he just got caught there. I don't think it's anything too serious. He won't want to come off the pitch. There's no more substitutions for the French.
Well, he's on a hat-trick as well. Only Jeff Hurst has done that in the World Cup final.
Doesn't sound right though, Sir Zidane is Zidane, does it? Doesn't quite have that same ring about it.
Also, if oh, there's Edmundo getting pretty angry with Junior Baiano. Actually, if he does get a hat-trick, I think it's McDonald's have pledged to commit $1 million to a children's charity, either in Brazil, if it's a Brazilian who gets a hat-trick, or France if it's a Frenchman.
Well, if we get a penalty, I wonder who'll take it.
I wonder. Ronaldo. Dunga. A flick with the outside of the boot, and look who's chasing. Chasing in vain. The flag has gone up on the far side. Roberto Carlos comes back. 12 minutes left. Can you imagine the scenes in Paris? The home of Jules Rimet, whose idea it was all those years ago, the first World Cup played in 1930. Knocked back by Junior Baiano to Tafarel. Here's Dunga. Danielson. Aldair. Not wide. Mundo. And flying in a long way there, but Petit picked that up quite easily. Petit didn't get to it, and neither could Dugarry. It's Cafu again for Brazil. They need to make an impact fairly quickly now.
Yeah, they just seem to lack a little bit of invention, which is something I don't think I've ever said about a Brazilian side, but now, with the man advantage, they still can't seem to carve open this French defence.
Vieira to Zidane. Zidane back to Lizarazu. Only Dugarry up. France with 10 men, remember. Desailly, soon to join Chelsea, is off the field, sent off. Second yellow card. Good stop there by Leboeuf, or at least it was half stopped by him, and the flag is up on the far side in any case. Must have been an offside against Danielson. A free kick to France, which they're going to allow Barthez to take. Laurent Blanc, the man who should have been playing in this World Cup final, but was sent off against Croatia in the semi. And the third player to suffer that heartbreak, Caniggia of Argentina in 1990 and Costa Curta of Italy in 1994. Can be such a cruel game. Here's Bebeto, and now Cafu. Edmundo, Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo still waiting to make an impact, and Petty was flying into that header.
Eat your heart out, Tony Adams. I mean, tremendous guts and determination to do a job for the team there.
It's the spirit that France need now, isn't it, for the next quarter of an hour, 10 minutes.
It's the spirit that's carried France through this tournament. I don't think they're the bunch of most talented players I've ever seen, but they work hard and they've got odd gems sprinkled in there. Zidane being, for me, the main one.
Cut out by Bogosian. Deschamps, great little captain he's turning out to be again. He's been everywhere in that midfield for France tonight. But here's Danielson, Rivaldo, Edmundo, but left the ball behind, and who picks it up? Deschamps. And who's bringing it away? Deschamps. And on to Zidane. He's got Dugarry up. He withstood a pretty gruesome challenge there. Vieira slowing it down. Dugarry. Thuram lost it. Danielson picks it up. Thuram's after him. Leboeuf's in with a challenge. Swift and fierce, but very fair. And a ball there, and the flag has stayed down. And Dugarry's now with a possibility here.
Well, different player. It's not Guivarch, the number 9. It's Dugarry, the number 21. But same end product, I'm afraid. Snatched at it. Never felt comfy. It's on his right foot. Waits. And then we'll be disappointed with that.
Danielson.
Well, he's cheeky if nothing else. I mean, imagine trying to run this man, Thuram. He's just about the quickest player I've seen in this World Cup.
Leboeuf bangs it clear. The clock ticks on, and France move closer and closer. The 8th host nation to reach the final. 5 of them have won, as I said at the start, including England in '66. 2 hosts have lost in the final, Sweden in '58, and the Brazilians, in fact, back in 1950. And remember, France have never won this trophy. And they are now, well, you can see from your screen, a little over 6 minutes away. Barthez being confronted by Roberto Carlos. The French are getting ready to celebrate. But even against a lackluster Brazilian side, you don't do that until the final whistle's gone. Bogosian on to Dugarry. When you think of Dugarry's miss there, and 2 or 3 earlier by Guivarch.
It could have been deflection, but went just wide. And,
it could have been a walkover.
Well, I mean, the Brazilians really haven't carved out too many chances. They've had some half chances.
And they don't get anything there, but they get a throw. Came off Lizarazu. It's Edmundo, Bebeto leaving it for Dunga. Knocked again there for Edmundo. Oh, this is Cafu, and it's straight at Barthez. There's the Michel Platini there, and the French president on his feet as well. And the World Cup is waiting there to be presented. You can see it at the bottom of the picture there. Now, it's in Paris now. Will it stay in France? It looks very much like it. Lizarazu in a little bit of trouble, but it's a throw for Brazil. Cafu will lift it in. And knocked away. I think the corner's been given. It has indeed.
The French are whistling because Brazil didn't give France the ball back, but I've got to say, Lizarazu is lucky not to have got booked for the challenge in the first place.
Danielson with the corner. He finds Dunga. France have pulled everybody back into their penalty area. Danielson again, he needed maybe to have crossed that ball a little earlier. But he's got other ideas. Dunga crosses it in quickly. Thuram with a header clear for France. As far as Deschamps. Just wants to keep the ball in his possession. In fact, it's Roberto Carlos who puts it away, so it'll be a French throw. I know it says Deschamps, but Andrea Zagallo, the Brazilian coach, throws it to Bagassian. Little touch and a good one from Zidane. And Zico, great Brazilian, up gets Deschamps. Free kick to France. Frank Leboeuf. There's Vieira. Lizarazu. Vieira again. Up to Zidane. Play on, said the referee. And Lizarazu does just that. Vieira. Chance suddenly looked to be on for Vieira to get in the scoring shot there. They play it wide again to Zidane. Deschamps letting it go to Vieira once more. And Brazil get it away. But you wonder to what effect on this so disappointing a night for all who love Brazilian football. Easily dispossessed by Deschamps. Nobody better than he tonight. Well, that's not a very clever ball played in there. And Brazil take possession of it. And they get it wide again to Danielson. Could still be problems here for France. But he hits it straight at Thuram. And the big Frenchman comes away. Roberto Carlos with him. Danielson trying to make up lost ground, but Thuram will have none of it, and France get a free kick.
Well, you can see in that little episode there why Danielson hasn't been playing. He does pretty much the same things a lot of the time, flicks around, but Thuram's a man and he's still a boy. And he took it back past him there and out-strengthened.
Frank Leboeuf with the free kick for France. They're almost there. 2 minutes left. Dugarry. Dunga. No Brazilian win, it seems, for the 5th time. The cards are really on the table now, and it looks as though it's going to be France for the first time. Roberto Carlos. Danielson playing it in quickly. And in the end, the flag has gone up on the far side before either Edmundo or Ronaldo can do anything about it.
Just about sums up the night. France coming out as a team. Brazil coming out all disjointed. Got caught maybe 5-6 times in this second half offside when really and truthfully there's been no need for it.
In a way, the match was decided to a certain extent before a ball was even picked. Clearly, great ructions within the Brazilian camp. And France have made them pay for their problems off the field. 3 minutes of time to be added on. But a free kick for France. They'll feel now they can cope. And they beat Tafarel for a 3rd time. It's Leboeuf with a free kick. And there have been better ones than that. Bagassian. Vieira. Thought Deschamps was going to get it, but those long legs almost got France out of trouble. But here come Brazil again. Danielson. Ronaldo on the far side. No free kick. He thought Danielson was play acting.
He's thought that right from the very word go, hasn't he? He's about 5 or 6 attempts at running at people and falling over. And I think the referee's got him right most of the time.
Bebeto. Rivaldo. Edmundo. Roberto Carlos. Edmundo again. Who is there still a way through? Danielson! Off the crossbar.
A little warning here on his left foot. Drives it across. But when they need a bit of luck, they don't get that either. But I tend to think in football you make your own luck. And tonight they haven't really done enough to make
Michel Platini looks pleased with life. Great French star of the past, now masterminding on the organising committee of this World Cup. A little flick on there by Zidane, but Dugarry will not get to that. France just 2 minutes away now for the most illustrious night of the whole football history of this great country. Thuram, helped by Vieira. Here's Thuram again. One of those long, powerful runs of his. But here's an even bigger man, Junior Baiano, to Bebeto. But France will surely put the shutters up now. A deflection, and it goes beyond the reach of Barthez for another corner. Urging the referee. Prayer there from Djorkaeff.
And everybody on that bench has contributed. It's not about 11 players anymore winning the World Cup. It's about 22.
Danielson with the corner. And France keep them out. Indeed they can. In fact, it's Dugarry just looking for support. And he's got Vieira. It's 5 against 2. Vieira playing it in again for Petit. And it's another one! It's 3-0! Manu Petit gets the roar of acclaim from his president, and France are the new world champions. What a glorious finish for the French side. To the acclaim of their president, and a broad smile there from Manu Petit. And the look there of Cafu says everything about Brazil tonight. Kevin.
Well, that goal had Arsenal written all over it, because it's Vieira who gets it, knocks it into Petit. How many times are we going to see this next season? Tremendous goal. They really didn't want to go forward at first, but they were forced to by Brazil's lack of urgency to get back. What a great finish from Petit.
It's over, and France are the world champions. Brazil, in not too many words, have been humiliated. They've shown neither spirit nor their usual skill, and they've been overpowered by a superb French display. 2 terrific goals from headers by Zidane in the first half, and then capped off by that excellent last goal from Manu Petit. Just look at the celebrations, and the man who's in the centre of it, Aimé Jacquet. I mean, managers everywhere will look at him and say, well, we've taken stick as well, but you really have had the last word. And the two managers embrace, which is the true spirit of football in this World Cup, which hasn't often been reflected actually on the field of play, to be fair. But Zidane's not worrying about that at the moment. And look at the scenes outside. The world of football now looks toward France, towards Champs-Élysées. The great celebrations have started in this great French city. You try and find a taxi tonight, or you try and find somewhere to go and eat tonight. They'll all be out on the streets, and it'll be a night of the most fantastic celebration. But they deserved it, Kevin.
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt about it. And I think when people see that 3-0 scoreline, they'll maybe, if you haven't seen the game, say, hey, they were lucky, but they weren't lucky to win 3-0 here tonight. That's the least they deserve. They created the chances, they showed the invention, and they showed the commitment.
The fans in the streets roar right through France, you can imagine. And you can imagine the sorrow in Brazil. They came here as favourites. Brazilians everywhere would have thought, yes, we can do it again and win it for the 5th time. But their tempo was wrong, their whole mental condition was wrong, and they were never really in it, particularly Ronaldo, who we don't think was fit, and particularly once Zidane would put France on the road to a famous victory. Right, we're going to take a short break now, but we shall certainly be back for the presentation. It's victory for France in World Cup 98, 3-0 over Brazil. But here they are, Dunga leading his men just as he led them up the steps for triumph in Los Angeles.